Welcome back to pregame.tv. Sunday NBA playoff action. We've got Atlanta at Indiana. Ken, this is going to be your free pick. I'm just going to set the table here for you. We've got two teams. We're looking at this. It's the 3-6 matchup. But you've got two teams that really limped down the stretch. Atlanta went 4-6 straight up the last 10, but only 2-8 against the spread. Mm-hmm. And if you look a little deeper, the 4 wins, they were all against teams with losing records. It's been a while since Atlanta's beat somebody with, that's been decent. And then you look at Indiana, they went 1-5 down the stretch straight up, but 0-6 against the spread. So you talk about two money burners, and here they are meeting in the playoffs. Something's got to give. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Indiana got a little deflated when they realized they couldn't catch the Knicks, and just wanted to make sure that they maintained. They knew Granger's already out for the year, but other than that, they're healthy. So that's good news going in. And I think you'll see them revert style-wise back to the team that we saw maybe the first third of the year once we hit the playoffs, because that team could be a factor still in the postseason. Yeah,
there's no question. When Indiana is playing defense the way they're capable of playing defense, I think they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And we all talk about it. It's like golf. You putt for show, but you drive. Where you drive for show, putt for dough. Defense is what wins in the playoffs, and I think that's what you've got to see here from the Pacers. But you look at these two teams. And down the stretch, and again, I think you hit the nail on the head about Indiana. Once they realized they weren't going to catch the Knicks and there was no threat of dropping to the 4th seed, I think that they were deflated and just going through the motions. I can make an excuse for them. I'm having a hard time making an excuse for what the Hawks did down the stretch. Not beating anybody, decent, and even struggling, with the games that they won, they weren't covering the spread against the garbage teams. What's up with the Hawks? And both teams, they've been lacking on the defensive end. You've got 3 of the last 4 games went over the total, 3 of the 4 games head-to-head between these two went over, but those were in the regular season. But down the stretch, Atlanta went over 4 of their last 5 games, and Indiana went over 6 of their last 8, but that goes back to they weren't playing with that intensity because they couldn't get the number 2 seed.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think things will change, like I said, in the postseason for several teams, not just in the Eastern Conference, but Western Conference as well. So the games that we got used to, remember, once you get to, game 70 of an 82-game season, and for some teams, 81 games, which kind of ticked off some people. But, a lot of times teams are going through the motions. One team may be out of it. The other team may really have nothing to play for. So let's go out and entertain. You're going to see a lot more overs at that juncture of the season.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? This is your free pick, so I'm going to shut up and let you make it official.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, my free play, Indiana and Atlanta. And I'm not going to pick a side here, even though I like the way the Pacers play on their home court. There is no doubt they're the better team. Danny Granger, a big loss. If they had him, I really think they would be a legit team if they played that defense the way they did the first third of the season. When they were playing that defense, they had a ton of unders. You couldn't get it to go over the total. Very rarely. They were the team. I'd see a 182. I'd still play it, and the game would finish at 175. George, West, Hill, Hibbert, Hansbrough off the bench. These guys, when they get going and they get focused, they can play D as well as anybody. Atlanta, on the other hand, yes, 4 of their last 5 did go over the total. Josh Smith and Al Horford, though, both those guys have been banged up. They're both back in the lineup, but still not playing consistently. And they're going to rely on Jeff Teague, but the main guy that I'm concerned about going against the total as far as I'm playing the under is Kyle Korver. Korver shoots 46% from the floor. He also shoots 46% behind the arc. So I think Indiana will clamp down on him when he is in the game, make sure they don't give him any open looks. They do that. I expect them to open it up, get it up by 6, 8, 10 points, and then kind of go through and clamp down on that D and not give up the open looks to Smith and Horford. They do that. Indiana takes care of business. They get the win. Don't want to lay the 7.5 points. I expect Indiana to cover that number, win it by around 9, 10 points, but I think this game will go under the total of 185.5 is what I saw it pretty much everywhere. And you may see some over money money. As Marco said, 3 of their 4 meetings head-to-head had gone over the total, so I may actually get a better total on game day than it sits right now, 185.5. But I look for Indiana's D to clamp down and the game to go under the total, my free game on pregame.tv.
All right, guys, that means we've got 1 game left. It'll be my free pick. We're going to take a look at the San Antonio Spurs and the LA Lakers up next. The LA Lakers, they made the playoffs. A lot of people thought they wouldn't. Not only did they make the playoffs, they made the number 7 seed. We'll talk about that next on pregame.tv.